Okay, hello and welcome to Just Like Me. I'm here with a very special member. Her name is Tina MacIntyre, and we actually know each other from when I lived in Ontario. I got to meet her at episode 200. Did we meet any other times besides that?
No, I think we tried a few times, but we
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah. But we have a connection, an in-person connection, and it's great to be able to spend this time with you today. And I feel really grateful that that you've taken this time to introduce yourself to our community as well, because it's just so magical when people take the time to share their stories. So I'm very excited.
I'm really excited to be here too, and to have this opportunity to speak with you and share my story. So
You look so adorable with your dog there over your right your right shoulder. Looks like your dog's snuggling you.
he's on the chair. He wanted to sit right behind me, and then he'll probably bark. I do apologize in
That's
advance.
okay.
Hearing everything and barking lately, but
So sweet. What kind of dog is he?
he's a bug. He's a Boston Terrier pug.
Oh my God, how cute.
Yeah, he's really a good dog. He's a nice balance of a lot of energy and this kind of scenario. Pug. This is the pug in him. So he's really good. He's a good dog. We've had him for 7 years. So
Oh, what a sweetie.
yeah.
So
Life with pets is quite amazing. So
yeah. Now, does he like yoga when you do your yoga? Does he like the yoga? Does he try to come on the mat and stuff?
yeah, he's often like right beside me or goes right between my legs during Shavasana.
Yeah.
And the cat actually loves when I first lay down. She'll
Mhm.
come darting from other places in the house and just plunk herself by my head. And yeah.
I think they're totally attracted to the energy of it, you know.
Yeah. She more so than the dog. The cat is really, she will come running from wherever she is, and she just loves it. So
That's
it's
that's so
really nice for
amazing.
me too. I love that time, right?
Yeah.
Because my yoga is really my quiet time, my time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to have that kind of unconditional, it's really comforting. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love it when people welcome that rather than try and fight it and keep them away. I
Yeah.
think rather than resist it, I think welcome it. I understand. Well, I don't have pets, so I guess it could be irritating at times as well. But I think rather than fight it, just welcome it in and understand
Yeah.
that they're
It's a
attracted to
lost
your
battle.
energy.
So
Right. I think that's the whole point. And just understand that they're attracted to your energy at that time. And you guys have seen in my videos how a dog will come like from darting from all over from ages away, come right in and just start licking my face,
yeah,
dogs
yeah.
that don't even know me, right? So
Dogs and ducks and all
yeah,
kinds of
okay, yeah. So
insects. And
well, if we film in Beacon Hill Park, in some parks, especially Beacon Hill Park, I think it feels like I honestly feel like I'm Snow White because all the animals will come in, it feels
yeah.
very fairy tale like.
Sometimes it looks like you're Snow White.
It's funny, but I think it is the energy that they're attracted to, and I think it's a nice confirmation of our practice too, that that wow, there's something really is happening here.
Yes. Yeah. That connection, that earthly connection and that calm. And
Hmm.
the sense that it's safe and it's pleasant.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, now we've got that pet conversation, the animal companion conversation aside. Usually we start by talking about what attracted you to yoga in the first place and, what drew you to the practice when you started, all those kinds of things.
Okay. I think I really started around 2013, and it was a mutual friend of ours who directed me to you,
Who's
uh,
that?
Courtney Plain.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
she's fabulous. How's she doing?
She's doing okay. She's in a difficult scenario right now, but I know she'll come out all right.
Yeah.
But she's doing well. Yeah.
Maybe I'll check in on her later today.
I think that'd be great for her. I think she'd love that.
Okay, I will.
And so 2013, I mean, my world tends to be really spun, and it was a time where I was realizing that if I don't start taking some time for me and taking care of myself,
Mm-hmm.
that I would start falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started with just doing the in-home, just a few classes just to see, and it just spoke to me, and it worked with my life. And I loved, you know, and this sounds hokey, and it's not that whole premise of real yoga for real people. I have a lot of issues in my body physically, and have always been afraid of doing classes outside the home because I'm a perfectionist and I'm a people pleaser. So I felt that in a class, if I couldn't do a certain posture, then I wasn't doing it right.
Yeah.
And so that really intimidated me. And I felt safe here at home. And if I wanted to stay in a posture longer, then I would just hit pause. Or if I wanted, you know, it's just the time, and it just seemed like a more gentle approach. And it was a time where I really needed to start being more gentle with myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
So you started with my classes. You hadn't had any experience with yoga before that?
I did a few years prior, and that it led to a lot of injury, and
Right.
it wasn't really well taught class.
Okay. Yeah,
And
because yoga is fairly prevalent, and usually people have some experience with it prior to coming.
It is, and I had been out a little bit, bearing in mind that a big part of my limitation is being outside the home.
Right.
And it certainly was more so the issue back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it wasn't working for me to be out, because we also live rurally. So just the travel time to get to a class would be an hour there and back, an hour. But
I live in this we live in an urban city.
Yeah.
Where there are great yoga studios, so many yoga teachers, so much great stuff happening.
Yeah.
But even if I can, like last night I went to a Qigong class, but the round trip for an hour class is still, let me think, I leave here at 5:30 and I don't get home till 7:30. So it's 2 hours, and that's walking to a class down the street. Right.
So for me, the whole frenzy of mobilizing just to be there, and then it wasn't working, and I was feeling a lot of pain coming from those classes. It just didn't make sense anymore. And quite frankly, the cost was becoming prohibitive too.
Yeah.
To pay so much for a class. It just, none of it seemed to make sense. And so I stopped going, and then Courtney directed me your way, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And that it's important to pay attention to those pain signals, because pain just creates tension in your body. Well, and injury, as you mentioned too, but even just pain can create more tension, and then, it's just a downward spiral then.
It's a domino effect. Then it causes, you're guarding. So you're
exactly
engaging somewhere else in your body. So then that part gets, has issues.
Right.
It's all connected.
Yeah. So it's so good that you listen to that, because in our culture, there's sort of this dominant message that no pain, no gain, even in the yoga world, right? Like, I hear people all the time talking about their yoga workout, and it's like, oh my God, sort of
it's not supposed to be a workout.
Yeah. I got to get in my yoga workout. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And my approach to it has really evolved over time, and a lot through your teachings too, that, this isn't meant to be a cardio workout. This isn't meant to be a killer physical, there are certain classes that, yes, I've taken and pulled out of the membership site because I wanted that day to have a certain goal, but it really made me slow down. And this was the whole epiphany in my life, where I needed to slow down, and I needed to stop wishing to feel better, because it doesn't make it so.
Yeah, that's really huge, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. But you have to stop and really take stock in what's wrong and how can I fix it, because no one else is going to fix it for you.
Yeah.
Right. And find your own joy. No one can tell you how to feel and find joy. You find it yourself.
Do you want to say a little bit about what was going on in your life at that time?
Well, but nobody else would really understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I have two children, and my eldest, who is now 16, has a life-threatening neuromuscular disease called spinal muscular atrophy. And SMA, the easiest way for people to understand SMA is that really it's like Lou Gehrig's or ALS in children. And so Hayden is essentially, he's not paralyzed because he has sensation in his body, but he's unable to move at all. He's, except for a few of his fingers, he can kind of do light movements, but he can't sit up unsupported. He can't hold his head up. He breathes with a great deal of difficulty. It's all muscular involvement. So the motor neurons in his spine have died, and the message doesn't get carried to the muscles that they need to move. And that's where the atrophy comes into his disease, not using the muscles, they are atrophying. Anyway, so Hayden is 24/7 care. When I'm not with him or my husband, we have to have a registered nurse with him because his breathing is compromised. But his care is also very physical because I need to transfer him and lift him and move him from his wheelchair to his bed. He lies on a bed 90% of his day because he can't sit up. So it's very physical. It's very emotionally draining.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of in a fight or flight scenario 90% of the time because he is so much at risk with his breathing and swallowing. And that's a big part of it. At the time in 2013, I had lost my father. My parents lived with us, so we were very close, very, very close. We built our home to have them live with us. And my father passed away quite suddenly and unexpectedly. He was moderate stage Alzheimer's. And my mom was diagnosed with terminal cervical cancer. And so my dad had passed. My mom was very, very sick, and I was caring for her here at home and caring for my two kids and being a mom and a wife and all of that. Major sandwich time in my life. And everything around me was just spinning and spinning. And I just felt that I was just spinning as well. And I needed to just put the brakes on somehow for me. And I cared for my mom. My mom actually passed in 2014. So yeah, that's kind of where I was at when I started with your Namaste Yoga. That's where it was.
It's just a huge load for any human being to carry.
Yeah, it was a lot. Looking back, I don't know how.
Yeah, how did you get through
how
it?
we did it. I think we were just buoyed by love, and we were going to do this. And my greatest gift to my mom was to care for her, and we were able to do that. And she never had to go into hospital.
Wow.
And she was palliative for 2.5 years.
Wow.
So at some point in all of this craziness in my day-to-day, I needed to just stop. And even if it was just for half an hour or just for an hour, it was really important for my well-being to take that time.
So how did you possibly do that when you were caring for two people that?
A lot of it, and it still is the case, my best time is first thing in the morning, and sometimes it meant getting up before everyone else. Hayden does go to school full-time, and he is with the nurse at school. So during school times and when he was well, once the kids both went to school, I was able to just lie on my mat and take that time. And I still try to do that kind of first thing once everyone's gone. And on the weekend, I like to get up early. I am a morning person, so I like to get up early and enjoy that beautiful time of the day. And doing my yoga during that time just makes it that much better for me. And we'll get into why I also like doing it in the morning. I don't know if I can segue to that now, just because.
Yeah, tell me why. Tell me why you like doing it at that time of day.
I do have arthritis in my spine and arthritis in a hip and really bad arthritis in my neck, and my hip is very bad. So I'm in pain 24/7. when I can do my yoga first thing in the morning, it really feels like I can unfold my body. That's the best way I can describe it. I can,
More so than any other time of the day.
pardon me?
More so than other times of the day.
Well, it enables me to function better during the day.
Oh, okay, I see.
So if I can get it done, and it kind of gets everything moving.
Right.
It doesn't mean that I can do a lot of the more demanding physically workouts, but right now that's where I am. I need to do the more gentle ones. It is really to enable me to function during my day, physically and emotionally. It really just unfolds everything, and it gets me in the right headspace to deal with what I'm going to deal with in the day. There's that emotional, that spiritual connection that when everything is crazy and I'm stressed, it just helps me ground myself and breathe and set intentions for the day. And sometimes they're really lofty intentions, and sometimes they're just to get through this one obstacle, or and it helps me focus on one thing during the day and keep that mindset, because I tend to be someone who wants to accomplish everything.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
And do it all well, and then some.
Yeah.
But I need to parse it out better.
Yeah.
And setting that intention where I'm focusing on one journey that day. Okay, this is the path I want to travel that day. How am I going to get there? Rather than I have to do this, that. And I think that's really useful for a lot of stay-at-home moms, for example, or moms who are trying to work outside the home. It's just, we have so much pressure on us to get everything done, to do everything, to be the perfect mom, the perfect wife.
But I think it's more than that. It's something that you said a little bit back, and I'd like to go back to it, which is really, really brilliant. And that's why I'd like to highlight it, which is that you're meeting yourself where you are.
Yeah.
So you said right now you're doing the gentler workouts, and there's almost like a little bit of judgment around it. Like, well, right now that's all I can do.
No, it's not all I can do. And I have come a long way there, where I used to, I used to do crazy cardio and weightlifting. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get my workout in today, and it would be really horrendous. And I would put myself down. And I know this is where I am right now. I'm really focused on honoring my body.
Yes. So I think
I turned 50 this year. So it's also that extra,
You're kidding me.
Like, you've made it 50 years. Let's see if we can make it another 50, but I can't do that if I'm not honoring.
I think what's really key is that when we come to our yoga mats, that we are establishing our relationship with ourselves and with our physical body. And if we're always pushing it to go beyond where we ourselves want to go, where our physical bodies are capable of going at that time, then it's like having a relationship with a taskmaster, a drill master. Like, imagine if you were like that with your child. So if you are showing up to your child every day, you would never do that to your child. Like, I'm thinking about yesterday when I showed up to Trinity, and she got up in the morning, and she wasn't herself. She had a terrible headache. She just didn't have the energy. I didn't say to her, listen, kid, pull it together, haul your ass to school. I said, you need to go back to bed and take a day, right? And I feel like in coming to our yoga mats each day, we are establishing that same kind of relationship with our bodies, with ourselves, where we're saying, okay, what's happening today? And there are going to be days where we have more energy and less energy. And when we meet ourselves where we are and give ourselves what we need, then we're growing that relationship of trust with ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then the more our body is going to open and unfold, and the less tension there's going to be, the less that fight happens with ourselves. Yeah. So I know for myself with the migraines that I experienced, that it was and continues to be, although I feel like I am coming out of it now, it was years of an incredibly gentle practice of almost, like the physical practice dropped away.
Yeah.
It was a very restorative practice because it was prior to that, it was years of pushing my body beyond its limits.
Yes.
Well, that takes a really long time to recover from.
It does. It
Drain the
takes
well.
cool.
Yeah. It takes a
And I
long
think
time to fill the well again.
And I think that's where I am now. I'm in that really, and it is for me a really long restorative phase. But I don't belittle myself any longer.
No.
That's all I can do.
No, it's a very important phase, and it's a really important phase to honor, of filling the well, of meeting yourself where you are in a very gentle way. It's a very beautiful stage. It's a stage where some people get frustrated.
You can. I think for me, the benefit of going through the struggles that we have and experiencing the big life crises that we have, it really opens my mind to how precious everything is.
Yeah.
And, you don't get this time back. You don't get to redo today. So make it what you want it to be. And when I was forcing myself to work out and, get on the stepper or get on the treadmill, I wasn't happy. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It's what I told myself I had to do. But it also wasn't benefiting me physically. I wasn't gaining anything of it.
Yeah, no.
No.
You don't want to know my opinion on this.
Well, I'm sure it matches mine. Again, maybe it comes with age. You have these.
Well, I really think that you're very smart to tune into your emotional response to that, right? It did make you happy, right? It was another one of those things on your should list, right? Should to-do list.
Should to do, and who tells us that we need to do that?
Right.
I'm much happier.
That inner critic in your head, right? The taskmaster.
The inner critic that's really fueled by society and this crazy ideal of perfection and beauty, and no, sorry. I'm much happier being more gentle with myself and listening to my body. And, I do get a lot of physical cues every day.
It's helpful. It's helpful to keep you on track.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And we can listen to that and trust it, right? It's the greatest. I mean, it's probably so much more reliable than the brain, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm curious then, if those are your greatest needs, what resources do you tap into in the membership community, or what classes are your favorite to support you in that? Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people listening saying, oh yeah, that's me too. So I'm curious what classes she does then.
I'm still really old school, and part of this has been because I don't take the time on the membership site. I'm totally guilty of that.
There's no guilt here.
I'm probably not the best person to ask about that.
Okay, there's no guilt. I want to know what old school classes you're using then.
I start almost every day, and whether I add on to it or not, I start every day with your very basic morning workout that you used to give when people registered. Yeah,
that's in the membership community. I'm going to share where it is. That's a great way to start the day.
It kind of touches everything that I need to unfold.
Yeah.
And
I'm shooting.
And it starts, and then I might build on top of that based on what I feel my body's saying. Like, do I need more? Do I want to work on, because a lot of my issue is in the hips. So I'll go to Happy Hips a lot.
Yeah, here it is, the yoga for morning.
I've got major blockage there. I want to work that out.
So this one is 25 minutes. And
that's
I'm not surprised you say intention setting is really important for you, because it's actually, there's a physical practice here, but the whole thing behind it is setting your intention for the day, isn't it? Like, that's kind of the theme of the class.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's my great starter. And it's also great because it's 25 minutes. So if I don't have tons of time, I know that I can unfold my body. And then if I want to add on to it, I do.
Yeah, so the hippie shorts, these are very popular as well, and some of them are quite short as well. Like
That's
some
right.
of them are even 11 minutes, around the 10-minute mark. So those are
So it's not, it's not onerous. If I'm feeling crunched for time, I can do the morning workout and then say the 11-minute, and I'm still well under an hour.
yeah. Do you do any of the arthritis videos? You mentioned you have arthritis.
I haven't
Ventured into
I've
those?
done a ton. I
I'll show
have.
you where they are, just so you know where they. I don't know if you know where they are. And just for people who, since you've brought up arthritis, I think they're pretty much down near the bottom of the long videos.
Yeah.
So there's yoga for arthritis. Here, yeah, they're all here.
Yeah.
Now there's a knee arthritis one too, I think. It should be up here. Okay, so there's yoga for arthritis and the yoga for hip
The hips one.
arthritis.
Yeah.
They're both quite comprehensive. The other one that would be good for arthritis, I think, would be the fibromyalgia one. And you don't have to do the whole video. You could do part of the video too.
Yes. And I think early summer, is there one, I think when you have some for migraines, there's a lot relating to my neck and
You like the playlist for migraines.
yeah, because I don't suffer so much from, I do get migraines maybe once every other month or so, but my neck is always sore, and that kind of feeds up,
Yeah, I get those kind too. Yeah, so that migraine list is good for that. So there's a yoga for migraines playlist here. I don't know if I'll be able to find it quickly. I may have already gone past it. But in the community playlist, you can find these are my recommended classes for migraines, and there are a lot of upper back, neck, and shoulder ones in there. I'm almost sure I won't be able to find it quickly here, but they're good. I'm also curious if you've ventured into any of the connective tissue ones, like with the soft foam roller and things like that.
I did, and I actually bought a little ball that they had. The little ball at Costco actually had them. There's one little ball. My foam roller, I need to get a better one. It's too hard, and I found it. I know you suggested wrapping with a towel, but I still find it's too hard.
Yeah. So the soft foam roller, even though it is a big outlay of money at the beginning, it's totally worth it. And especially, I think, because you have arthritis, I think it's definitely a tool to add to your toolbox.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Actually, my daughter, I think, can start using it. She's already showing signs that she's got some joint issues, but she's very physically active. So I'd like her to focus a little more on supporting her joints. I think hereditary wise, she may be traveling down the same path that my mom and I have traveled.
What kind of activities is she doing?
She's a competitive synchronized swimmer.
And she's got joint issues.
Lots of lifting and
so joint issues in her
shoulders. With synchro, you might have a person lifting out of the water, but there would be two people underneath that person supporting them and pushing them up.
In your pelvis and things too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
I find that I think just systemically there's something going on with her joints because her wrist is sore. She sprained her ankle very badly last year. She just seems to have maybe, and it could be her age too, because she's growing, and I think there's she's very loose in those joints. They're very flexible, and they're not really well supported by the muscles and tendons.
Yeah.
But she's putting demand on them.
Yeah.
So I even her coach had recommended a foam roller for her, but I told her I wanted to get the softer one because I don't want her injuring the connective tissue.
Yeah. It really depends. I think the soft foam roller is the best overall. There are parts of your body that can handle the harder one, but it's really only, like your hamstrings, like that's it, right? Like it can kind of handle, in my opinion, a little bit tougher roll. But
and the quads, the hamstrings are so tender for me. So
so even then, you're just better to go with a softer roller. Yeah. it's really interesting in working with a rolfer that I'm working with now. He also said to me that people that are more body aware, so this would be pretty much anybody who's practicing yoga here regularly, he said when he works on them, all he has to do is like this,
Just hint, right?
hint, yeah, and huge things happen. When he works on people that aren't body aware, that, you know, don't tune into their bodies, don't have a regular body practice, he has to do this, he really has to work them, you know? So I think that, you know, a hard foam roller this is why people are like, I need the hard foam roller, because they get on a soft foam roller, nothing happens. They don't have that body awareness. You know what I'm saying?
No. And it's like they need to scream at their body.
Exactly.
Right.
But when you have, like, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, when you have this relationship with your body and your body trusts you, and then your body's going to respond to you, you don't need to yell at it.
No.
You just, you can talk very quietly.
It might be yelling at you, but you don't need to yell at it.
Right. Yeah, if it's good, if you have this back and forth relationship and it speaks and you listen and you respond, then the soft foam roller is going to work.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, this practitioner that you mentioned,
So this is a rolfer, and this could be very good for her too, if you can find a good one in your area that's working gently. And you could just, you would know enough by looking at their website and their description of how they're working. Rolfing's kind of gone into paths, and originally when Ida Rolf started, it was a very aggressive practice, and people would go in and they'd be screaming and crying. But now it's branched off, and the style of Rolfing that I'm receiving now, they're working very gently with your connective tissue, which is why I went and started to see them. And then the result is that a gentle realignment of your bones too. So the releasing tension from your body, and it's really nice realignment of your whole skeletal structure as well. So it's very,
I'll have to look into that, because I
it's brilliant.
I need
For
to
yourself
do
too.
myself.
Yeah, for yourself too.
But you know, things like chiropractic just seems so, and I'm not demeaning the profession, but for me, it just seems too aggressive and too.
Depends on the chiropractor. Some of them are working. It depends on how they're working. The movement industry is changing and evolving daily. And if the people in those professions are keeping up with what's happening in the industry, then they're changing the way they're practicing. Like you guys see, the way I'm teaching yoga isn't the way that I was teaching yoga 7 years ago. So it's true of any practitioner, but some practitioners continue to practice the way they were taught when they first went in. Yeah. So it's up to you, when you go and find what you need, that you find somebody who's staying abreast of the most current
of the research
because it's amazing. We live in a time when we have so much information available to us. And I think it behooves those of us who are teaching, practicing, to stay abreast of the knowledge that is pertinent to us, and pass it on to the people that we're working with, in my opinion. Anyway, that was a little tangent. I think Rolfing's great. I think it's good when you have a practice. You can do so much on your own, and then if you see a practitioner, they can take you that much further.
Yeah, and I'm getting to that point now where I can do so much work, but I am still feeling a resistance in my body that I can't seem to push. And
and that's exactly the time when you need to go and get some support. Yeah.
Because I can let the arthritis just progress on its own, or I can help to maintain what I've got in terms of range of motion and just in terms of my daily comfort. I don't want it to keep progressing. I want to I want to control it a little better than
and it doesn't have to be like, okay, here's where I am and that's how it's going to be the rest of my life. I think
even in terms of getting that diagnosis, and it's okay, oh, okay, life is over as I know it.
Yeah. No.
And one person said to me, most 50-year-olds are walking around with some sort of arthritis in their cervical spine anyway. So it just happens that you had x-rays done and they're telling you this, but I can't let that point of diagnosis be some jumping off point that things are going to be that much worse or horrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've had it. It's not,
Yeah.
it didn't change that day and it didn't
Right.
get worse, but it got worse in my head that day.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, right?
It does make sense.
That's part of the journey too, right? Is processing it emotionally as well.
Yes.
And to deny all that is not fair to your emotional body either, right?
No.
Yeah. So to allow yourself to process that and what it means to you rather than to deny that is important as well.
Yes. I don't have a great GP, so she tends to be kind of fatalistic and
right.
and here's your prescription and but I want to know why and
yeah,
it gets to a point where she's investigated enough and this is all I'm going
that's the end of the road for her, right?
And this is all I'm going to do for you. And
and then that's where I think it is up to us to be our own best advocates too, right?
And to seek care that we want.
Yes.
Not necessarily that they say, and we did the same with our son. He is nearly 17 and diagnosed at 8 months of age, and we were told he would not live to see his second birthday.
It's incredible.
Now, we could have taken that and said, okay, then that's that. And over the years, they've told us several times that he's, we should be happy he's outlived that prognosis, but it's not taking that as truth because no one has a crystal ball.
Exactly.
And not focusing on the negative and seeking out what, it's constantly seeking.
Well, it sounds like you have
a really road.
Well, it sounds like even more than that, like you have a really strong truth barometer too. So you can read when somebody like, or even a better way of saying that, like you can read bullshit really well. Yeah. So somebody tells you something and you're like, yeah, I'm not buying that. That's not ringing true for me.
Yeah.
And then it allows you to seek something that does resonate with you.
Yes. I like your approach better than like, I'm a bit of a bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
I do seek truth and I do see when people aren't being truthful and when it's not speaking to me that this is right.
I think people give up a lot too.
I think we're conditioned to, aren't we? Aren't we?
That's interesting.
Are we conditioned to overcome? Is that the norm? I don't know that we're conditioned. I think we all have to get to our own point where we know we can overcome.
Yeah.
Right? I saw this quote this morning and I've heard it before and it's just when I'm struggling, I have to look back to the times before that I've struggled and my track record is 100% success.
Right. It's so true, right?
When you're in it, it seems insurmountable and it seems, I won't get through this, but I will always look back to things I have overcome and things I have survived. And I did. I'm here today. I overcame and I did survive. It wasn't easy, but my track record is 100%. And I think we all have to remember that. When you're mired in that horrible, horrible struggle, whatever it might be, you've gotten through things before, you can get through this. And I try to think about that a lot because on a daily basis, our family can hit that wall quite often.
Yeah.
This is, wow, okay. Fasten your seatbelts. Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is that the solution is not going to be the same every time.
And it'll sometimes be so hidden and and disguised,
Yeah.
not obvious.
So I think part of it is being really open.
Yes. Yeah. Open to all kinds of solutions and not just a single path. We've traveled down many paths in this journey, and there's no right or wrong.
No.
Right at that moment.
Yeah.
And when we try to second guess, oh, I should have done this.
Mm-hmm.
I know deep down that every decision that we've made has been really thought out, and
the best one you could have made at the time.
It was the best one at the time.
Yeah.
And if we try to second guess the decisions we made, we'd go crazy.
Yeah.
At the time, and I try to focus on in the moment. Right now, this works. This speaks to me. Yesterday it would have been a different story. Tomorrow will be another story. But to really be present and today. And that has helped us survive. It helps me get through my day. This is today and my goals. Again, it's back to the intention setting. Trying to set something every day so that I feel the sense of a goal. But at the end of the day, if I didn't meet that goal, or if it didn't happen the way I wanted it to, maybe why not? And that's okay. It's okay if it didn't. It's life. Life is black and white. Ours is very gray, but it's to remember that there's, it's in the moment.
Yeah. Well, I think this has been a very powerful time for us to have together. I think that's a very powerful note to end on too.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Nice.
I just, your practice brings immense joy to me, and I am honored to have met you, and I'm honored to get to see your videos every day. I'm honored to have that choice. You are a really special person, and you have given this world so much, Melissa, and I'm going to cry, but
you make me cry.
I love seeing you every day, and I love hearing your voice, and I love hearing your stories, and just being with you in that moment during the practice. And you have taught me so much about taking that time, and I love the spiritual parts to your practices. And it's not just about the physical. There's so much emotional component that has buoyed me through so many things. I look forward to my practice. I look forward to seeing you on my little iPad screen. I take you on vacation. You really, really have touched something in me, and you bring me immense joy. And I know that's the same of everyone on the membership site. I can't say enough about you to everyone. I speak of you all the time, and what a great aspect you've added to my life. You really have helped me heal. You have helped me think about things I didn't think about before. I definitely strive to be the type of person that you are. You are often in my thoughts in my day, because you are such a tremendous, tremendous role model as a woman and a mom and a person. So I love you immensely, and I hope you know that, and I hope you feel the love from everyone that you teach and that you support, because honestly, I can't say enough.
Well, thank you. You have. Thank you. And the feeling is mutual. It is just an honor to have a student like yourself, and you are an unsung hero, because what you do every day quietly in your home, looking after your family and your son.
I always think back. You did the 40-day practice for me, and one thing that came up in the work that we did on that was that this is my dharma.
Yeah.
And I
Hello.
think of that
He
all the
he
time
chose
when I'm
you as your mom.
feeling worn out and, oh gosh, I have to do this and I wish I didn't have to do that. And I really stop myself and I say, this is my dharma.
Yeah. And look what a great job you're doing.
Well, sometimes,
Before we pressed, I just have to tell everybody, before we pressed record, you told me that your son is looking at attending universities outside of the, like what, he, not just outside of the home, outside of the city.
yes,
Yes.
he would like to go to Guelph or Waterloo.
Hello. Like, which is an hour, 2 hours away from where you live.
Yes.
Yeah. So come on, mama.
So we have a big road ahead of us. It is a scary time right now. I won't deny, yes, we're 50. Yes, I have a special needs child who's finishing high school in a
She's
year.
becoming an incredible adult.
And, when a lot of our friends have kids going off to university and they're starting to talk about their own golden years and their own empty nesting, I'm not sure what that looks like for us.
Very different.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
Hayden will be 18 in a year and a half, and everything changes in terms of nursing support and financial support. It's a very scary time.
Yeah.
And so it's if I lose my yoga, I will go crazy.
But I will just sing your little song back to you, which was, you have 100% success rate, my darling.
I know.
We'll all remind you of that now that you've told us all about that.
Okay. All right. Well, I look forward to, I want to get more involved with memberships.
Yeah, everybody's going to fall in love with you now.
There are so many like-minded people out there, and I need to tap into that love and understanding.
Yeah. Well, you've got friends. You're surrounded by friends. So thank you so much. And
thank you so much. It was so great to speak with you, and I wish you love, and I'm sending you all of my best thoughts and wishes.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, darling.
You as well. Bye.
Bye.